You've all heard the phrase before. Can't beat a boss in Bloodborne? Get good. Not fast enough to outsnipe someone in Battlefield? Get good. Shoelaces untied? Get good. People have used it jokingly and sometimes seriously for a while, and the latest game to embody its sentiment is none other than the colorful 1930s cartoon-inspired Cuphead. People are calling it the Dark Souls of platformers, which is actually quite fitting. Not just because you're literally collecting the souls of your enemies, but also because of the game's boss rush design. Every one of the bosses presents unique challenges that will test your skills, reactions, and multitasking abilities. They're comprised of several different phases, with each phase posing new and completely different obstacles than the last. Some people might not find any enjoyment out of dying over and over, but for Cuphead, that's the exact way the game should be played. If each boss had mechanics simple enough to beat it blind in one go, the challenge obviously wouldn't be there, but more importantly, the game would lack the very real sense of accomplishment and satisfaction that defeating one of its many bosses gives you. The way each battle is structured encourages you to die, learn from your mistakes, and come back swinging in the next rematch. The game teaches you each section slowly, and once you've figured out how to navigate the bullet hell in one phase, and are able to get past it, you immediately get the sense of fulfillment. It's very much like a really good sneeze. A satisfying release, but you are also left with a mess immediately afterwards, since the boss will change things up and you'll have to learn the next part in the same manner. You can call it masochism or whatever you want, but in my opinion, the game never really becomes a vehicle for frustration. Every death takes you immediately back to the start, no loading required, and the tantalizing thought of completing the level is teased with the timeline tracking your progress. Yes, you may die to a boss several dozen times over and over, retrying after every stupid mistake, as you slowly lose track of time and suddenly it's 4 AM and you should definitely be sleeping, but I mean, in all fairness, time is just a human construct put in place to keep people like us from playing more Cuphead. Maybe the best way to describe the game would be difficult but fair, as hazards rarely, if ever, feel unavoidable. There can be a lot of moving parts within each encounter, and even if there are a bunch of things going on at once, they each tend to be straightforward and consistent. For example, this one blimp will always spit out a single projectile at you, while this other blimp will always spit out several in the same pattern, and the boss will always laugh in the same direction. So these things alone are easily avoidable, but when you combine them all, you have a recipe for the scathing difficulty that becomes the lifeblood of the entire game. But unlike some other games that are difficult just for difficulty's sake, Cuphead approaches the dreaded trial and error concept with grace and finesse, and never once punishes you for doing the right thing. You may die to a stray ghost eyeball or a razor-sharp feather, but unlike you and your skill, those things never change between fights. Figuring out the boss's mechanics on your own, applying them, and taking them down because you had the spatial awareness to avoid all the crap thrown at you is what the game's all about. The learning process may be daunting for some, but when you succeed, it's a supremely gratifying and immensely rewarding experience that makes all the deaths that came before it worth the time. Hey guys, I hope you liked this short take on Cuphead's difficulty. It's one of my personal favorites of the entire year, and I hope that you find some time to at least give it a shot, even if it's not your bag. If you have played it, I want to hear about it in the comments below. I want to hear favorite bosses, least favorite bosses, the most BS thing in the game. Let me know what you think, and don't forget to check out the review of the game over on GameSpot.com, and I'll see you guys next time.